Aquarius workshop, Transforming the Reverse Thinking. I start with a quote from Password Lecture 227. What you call the real life is the most illusory life where almost everything is seen upside down and in reverse. There, only the outer, most superficial manifestations are recognized, perceived, and dealt with, and thus life is being fragmented into an unrecognizable pattern. End of quote from Password Lecture 227 with the title Change from Outer to Inner Laws in the New Age. The reason we incarnate on Earth is because we have taken on a task of embodying destructive consciousness and transforming that into constructive consciousness. Once we understand the purpose of this life and the lessons we come to learn, then we will be able to make the most of this incarnation. Collectively, we have a fundamentally distorted attitude, where we fail to perceive the connection between cause and effect, and are stuck in reversed thinking. The spiritual law of cause and effect teaches us that thoughts, behaviors, and feelings are causes, and that the consequences become visible in events. Out of fear of pain and self-responsibility, we believe that it is exactly the other way around, and we look for the cause outside ourselves from a distorted self-protection. This reverse thinking causes us to rebel against life challenges. We view life as unsafe and have the illusion of living in a chaotic and unjust universe. The truth is that all spiritual laws, such as the law of cause and effect, are organic, infinitely just, and balanced down to the smallest detail. These spiritual laws apply to the entire universe and work so precisely that there is absolutely no possibility of error or chance. The better we come to know ourselves, the better we come to perceive the connection between the outer life and the inner life. We must connect cause and effect and seek the cause within ourselves. In this workshop, we will explore with a loving curiosity 3 fundamental themes to transform reverse thinking. The first theme: fear of self creates reverse processes. We can only feel free if we know ourselves and do not hide or keep anything from ourselves. Then we are able to give the best of ourselves. Withholding the best of ourselves causes the greatest pain and frustration. The cause of our non-giving attitude is self-alienation, a fundamental fear of ourselves. When we fearfully hide the distorted part of ourselves, we are constantly on our guard. Because of that destructive attitude, we are in untruth, and we see everything upside down and in reverse. Now follows a quote from Password Lecture 136. Fear of self cannot possibly end up then in self-alienation. It therefore cheats man of his birthright to be a happy, free, fully living and unfolding, giving and receiving creature. The result is that man gets more and more involved in inverted processes, due to which he not only loses contact with his innermost being, but contact also with cause and effect within himself, and contact with that mechanism within himself which affords him relaxed self-government and therefore a possibility to build up his life in a rewarding, realistic way. End of quote from Password Lecture 136. The second theme: reversal from outer to inner reality. When the connection between our inner reality and our outer experiences is blurred, our conceptions of life and the connections between life and ourselves are hopelessly distorted. All our perceptions are unreliable because we have brainwashed ourselves with a basic view of life and ourselves that is distorted and untrue. Because most people believe in the illusion that our experiences in life come from outside, it is very difficult to break this brainwashing. Now a quote from Password Lecture 211. As you work along the precepts of this path and establish the connections between you and the events, no matter how remote from your volition and your responsibility they may seem, a curious reversal begins to take place in your vision of self and life. What first seemed cause, the outer event, now becomes effect, and vice versa. What first seemed merely symbolic analogy, the inner landscape, is now stark reality, while the outer events become symbolic representations of the inner reality. This new perception brings about a whole gamut of new reactions to life. End of quote from Password Lecture 211. The third and last theme: influencing reverse consciousness. Fulfilling our task on earth begins with facing ourselves and discerning the higher self, lower self, and mask self aspects. The lower self aspects are temporary distortions of higher self aspects. We can ask ourselves in meditation, what does this thread look like in its original pure version before it has undergone an inversion, a distortion, and become negative? In this way we transform that aspect in question and fulfill our task. Now the last quote from Password Lecture 222. Your higher self has taken on a task and has taken with it into an embodiment, into a materialization, an aspect of that anti-God matter with its inverted consciousness and energy. You have taken it with you into incarnation, where it is possible for you, as your task, to get to know it, to deal with it, to influence it, rather than be influenced by it. End of quote from Passwork Lecture 222. For more information, you can look on my website. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.